back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. Look, I know it's past Valentine's Day, but I just wanted to keep bringing you guys love, and this is my favorite set we've done all year. Normally, like Halloween or like Christmas time is, but this is the first time we've done Valentine's Day, and I'm not ready to take it down yet. So bear with me. How cute is this mug? Does anyone else think about Paris when it comes to love? So, at any rate, let's get into today's show. We have an amazing topic for you. What education is required to be a travel agent? Do I need to go to school? Do I need a certification? Do I need a license? We get this question all the time across all of our social media platforms, and today we are answering all for you. So, if you want to find out what education is required to be a top performing travel agent, if you want to know, do I need a degree? Do I need a certification? Do I need a license? And if you want to find some great free resources to get started, I'm going to be sharing some of those. And if you want to know where to find the best training in the industry to start your journey, then keep on watching.
This could be magical. Whoa, whoa. This could be magical.
All right, guys. So before we get started in today's content, if you are not already following us over on YouTube, make sure you give us a like, follow, and ring that notification bell. We have some secret content that comes out on YouTube every single week that will give you great tips and advice on growing your travel business. And also, are you new here? If you're new, I would love to meet you. Just type new in the comments, and I go back and read all the comments. I would love to just say hello. And if you're new, you probably don't know who I am. My name is Cyndi Williams. I started in the travel industry over 25 years ago. I still own and operate my own award-winning, nationally recognized travel agency, and I'm also the CEO of Careers on Vacation that helps people just like you launch, grow, and supersize your travel businesses. So that's a little bit about me. It's so great to meet you. So today we're discussing what education is required to be a travel agent. I personally have trained thousands of travel agents in my career. Early on in the 90s, I would train class after class after class after class. And then, of course, you guys know I own Careers on Vacation, so we're doing classes in a different format now. But you might be asking yourself, do I need to go to college or university for 4 years? Nope, you sure don't. Do I need to go to a trade school? Nope, you sure don't. Do I need a certification? Do I need a license? Talking US and Canada, well, Canada's a little bit different. So specifically for the US, you might be surprised to learn that no, you don't need any of those things. None, zip, nada. Should this terrify you? Yeah, a little bit it should, right? Not all travel agents or travel advisors are created equal for this reason. Just because you don't have to get training doesn't mean you should get training to feel skilled at your craft and what you do. It just means that it's not a requirement. So feel good about the fact that you don't have to go spend 4 years somewhere. You don't have to do a 2-year certification at a trade school. You can get into the industry relatively fast if you get the right one, if you are able and willing to do the work and do self-learning, but also there's some tools and resources you can kind of put together depending on the type of person you are and what's best for you, and we're going to talk about those today. But you can get started really quick, which is amazing. So, but I want to start with a question for you guys, because people will be like, oh my gosh, so that's why I had some of you might be thinking, that's why I had that crazy experience, because that lady or that guy clearly didn't know what they were doing. In life, I'm sure you guys have all dealt with someone who was not qualified or didn't take care of you, or they did a terrible job at something that was important to you. How did that make you feel? Like, tell me in comments. I would love to hear the stories, but just tell me in a 1 or 2 sentence, like, what's the worst? And it doesn't have to be travel related. It can be someone who wasn't qualified to do hair or a restaurant experience, or maybe you were buying a car, whatever that thing is. We all have that one experience or that one story where you're like, oh, if I had that to do over again, I would not have worked with that particular person. Because when you're buying something that's important to you, or like a trip that you're taking your family on, you want to make sure that every detail is kind of covered. So rather than being left frustrated and annoyed, or if you were frustrated and annoyed, would you go back to them again? Like, would you go back and do business with that person again? No, probably not. So And guys, listen, if you are brand new to the travel industry, I know we are diving in on what education today, but if you're still like deciding if it's even for you, I want to tell you about free resource. The second free resource after our YouTube channel is go over and get our free masterclass, the 5 shifts to a 6-figure travel business and beyond. This will really help you understand what it takes to get in the industry, all the different options to get into the industry, the different ways you can get started, and also how to monetize your business kind of from the beginning, kind of the 5 things you need to do to be really successful. So you can decide, is it for me, is it not for me? And hopefully that's a help to you. But let's continue on the path of becoming a travel agent with 0 training or 0 education, right? So to set the stage, that's a little bit, in my opinion, a recipe for disaster, right? And just so you guys know my journey. So I started way back in the 90s, like right out of high school. I did go to a trade school. I went to back then they had travel schools that you literally would have to memorize like 300 city codes before you walked in the door. And we had to learn how to do fare breakdowns. And doesn't anyone remember like OAG manuals and like actually handwriting tickets? Yeah, I know I'm showing my age. I don't care. But that we literally had to learn like all that detail, and everything we did in the system was on something called GDS system, which stands for Global Distribution System. So we had to learn all the coding and they didn't call them formulas, but basically like I would call it a link today, but all the little things you had to type in to look at flights, to look at hotels. They actually still have those systems today, but they're a little more user friendly. Anyway, all that to say, I went to a real travel school, graduated, earned a certification, and then I worked for one of the biggest travel brands in the world, which is where I started my journey, which also provided that you went to travel school, then you went and worked. If you worked for a call center or a mom and pop, you would get additional training. What are their suppliers? How do you sell? How do you make sure you're doing the right requirements correctly? So there was a lot of education before you were unleashed and allowed to help people with their vacations, because it was a complicated process and you didn't want to put the company at liability or make mistakes. So what happens in today's world is there are companies that you can actually go to where they'll just turn on your access, and you could be a travel agent tomorrow. You could hire one of these companies. They're going to turn on some usernames and go to town. You're a travel agent. That's a real disservice to clients because you don't know what you're doing, right? Let's be honest. And it also is a liability for you. So these companies have insurance in case you make a huge mistake, but does that insurance cover you? Not necessarily. A lot of these models are what you call I-9 or independent contractor models. So you're an independent contractor, so you need to get your own insurance. I always say, no matter if you're experienced or not working with one of these companies. And in that situation, like, you could make a mistake. What if you send someone to the wrong place? Like, those are things that actually happen, like Grand Rapids, Minnesota, Grand Rapids, Michigan, or Washington, the state, or Washington, D.C., right? Like, I know it sounds crazy, like who would make that ridiculous mistake, but you'd be surprised. There's some crazy things that have happened in the past. But those are things where if you just jump in and not knowing what you're doing can be a liability to you. And also not having real robust training, good quality training, is why so many people get frustrated and quit. Like, a lot of people are like, of course it sounds amazing to be a travel agent. Of course I want to be like you, Cyndi. I want to travel the world. I want to work from home or travel. I want to do all these things, right? But if you don't have the proper training and you don't feel confident about doing your job and you're going down these rabbit holes of how do I do this? How do I book this? This job is like not the easiest job in the world. And that's why people get frustrated, overwhelmed, and they quit, which in my opinion is so sad because this industry is so amazing. There's so much potential and it can be pieced together, but in terms of the going down the route of no education is a much tougher process. It can take people years to like self-educate and get to a place where they're really doing well if they don't quit because it's just too confusing. And then of course with that IC model, training's never guaranteed. Some of them do training, some of them don't. And because you're an independent contractor, they cannot require you to do training. That would make you an employee, not a contractor. So it's more like, oh, go to this link or check this out, or what do you want to sell? Maybe you'll go over here. So nobody has a like when we brought classes in, we would say, learn this first, then learn this, then learn that, then learn that. Now we're going to sell these things. Here's what you need to know. So there's not that type of structure in those models today. And that can be really frustrating. And guys, being a travel advisor and a travel agent, of course it sounds glamorous and we get discounted things, or we get free cruises, we get all kinds of fun stuff. But it is not an easy job, especially post 2020 and post pandemic, or in pandemic still right now, right? We're kind of in the middle of it. Clients are looking to work with you. That's the good news. But they don't want to work with just anyone. They had a bad experience with the OTAs and the Expedias and the Pricelines not handling their situations right last year and getting very frustrated. And all the major media is like, work with a travel agent. Find someone you know, love, and trust. Make sure you have a travel agent in your back pocket. So there's demand in our industry, but people are looking for that level of care and that level of skill. They don't want to just work with anyone. So just getting logins turned on, you're going to be lost. They're going to be frustrated. It's like, that's why I say it's a recipe for disaster. And that's why you want to consider different types of education as you prepare yourself to be the most successful in this industry. So what do I do, Cyndi? What do I do if I really want to make a go at being a travel agent? Where can I start educating yourself? So there's lots of different ways to educate yourself. I'm going to go through some different options today. I'm even going to share some of my competitor information because I'm a firm believer of what's right for you is right for you. And if you resonate with me, great. If not, that's okay. I still want you to be successful in the travel industry. And I wish everyone watching this nothing more than love and abundance as you grow. So first I want to talk about certification programs. So a certification will show clients that you did some real training and you're qualified to assist them. So there are a couple different certification programs out there. Of course, I'm 1000% biased because I own Careers on Vacation. We do offer a 12-week mastermind program where you do get certified as a travel agent. And it's a little more than a typical travel school though, because we're also teaching you how to set up your business in today's marketplace. So full disclosure, of course I'm biased. That's my program. I built it from my 27 years of experience of training thousands of agents to try to make you the most successful in the least amount of time is my only goal. So there's that program out there too. Another place that you can look for certification programs is on the ASTA website. ASTA is the American Society of Travel Advisors. You will see our program listed as a travel school on there as well as ones all over the US. So that's another great place to look for certification programs. And sometimes after certification programs, the next one is sometimes getting training from the agency that you work with. Now, this is really rare. So the bigger ones that kind of turn on your stuff, some of them will have that hodgepodge, like a little training here, a little training there. Now they advertise it like it's the best training in the world. I can tell you because a lot of people who are in those models still hire us to work with them to grow their business and to get more clear and doing a better job. So just know that sometimes that's kind of sketchy. But with mom and pop agencies, once in a while you can find a diamond in the rough that's more of a family-owned one, and they do offer more education. One of the ones that you can look for is a Wanderlust CEO certified agency. That's actually an agency that was trained by me and our programs, and they have a higher certification to learn how to become an amazing agency. So some of them will actually have an internal training program that is more robust because we helped them build it, right? So definitely that's a good place to look as well. And then of course there's some online programs. If you don't want to take a longer program, sometimes you can get a shorter one. Careers on Vacation is 12 weeks, and some of the shorter ones, like I'll give you some examples of ones that we have. If you don't want to do something that's as long as a 12-week, we have our travel agency launch kit, and we also have a travel professional training kit. The launch kit is if you want to start your own business from home, kind of that startup. The travel professional training kit is if you're going to work for someone else, but you're going to be marketing yourself. That would be one that you can take, and it's an instant program, and you can kind of get in and just start going through the modules right away. So those are online programs that can be considered as well. So that gives you, guys, I know it's a lot of information. It's a lot to unpack. I would say you have to ask yourself when you're deciding what education do I need is what is your confidence level with being a new agent? Do you have some experience? Like if you worked in the travel industry back in the 90s or early 2000s, like before the crazy, we had 9/11, then we had the internet thing, right? So some people were in the industry very successfully, got out, and now a lot of people are wanting to come back. If that was the case, then, that you might have a different solution based on someone who's brand new. So what I would ask yourself is if you like that hands-on in-person support, that's one of those things that a mastermind, more like this cruise and vacation mastermind, will help you with. But if you're okay with self-learning, then you might be okay with one of these other programs that's more self-learning. So I want to give you a couple reminders and things to look for. First, being a top performing travel agent requires ongoing education. Even if you're doing an initial certification or an initial program or educating yourself in whatever way, you have to, especially those of you that are new, you have to recognize ongoing learning is part of what you do. 2020 was the awesomest learning year ever, right? Even people like me that have been in the industry for decades were like, what's new today? What changed? What do I need to know? All of the crazy happened. So education is going to be part of what you need to be on top of in this career if you're going to be successful at it. And your initial training is going to really determine that success or failure in the industry. So make sure you pick wisely towards the beginning to really get yourself off to a great start, whatever program you choose, whatever resonates with you and fits with you. I'm just giving you all of the suggestions, all of the things that are out there. So guys, couple of things to watch out for too, as you guys are considering training, a couple of things to look for, whether it's my program or you're vetting someone else's. One is, does it help you in your area of specialization? So one thing we do in our programs is, like COV, for example, we have Disney training, cruise training, package training, consolidator air training. There's more, but I can't remember how to do groups. Whatever area you want to specialize in, just make sure that's covered in terms of the curriculum. And then also, are you looking to be a travel agent advisor, or are you looking to eventually be a business owner? So that's something when you're paying attention to, if you're going to invest dollars in education, like sometimes there's different learning tracks. Like we have a learning track for that advisor, and then we also have a learning track for people who are agency owners. And that's just based on your personal goals. So it just depends. And then do they have an ongoing community where you can ask questions, right? Instead of going to random Facebook pages or joining groups where you're not sure who you're getting advice from, like we have a grad group. So hundreds of graduates can go in there and go, what's the deal with this? Or what's the update here? And they know it's all people that have been certified through our program. So it's all high quality tips and advice and things that are getting shared in those groups. So ask if they have something like that. And then are they updating your materials over time? This is important because the stuff I was training 3 years ago is not the stuff I'm training today. But if someone took my program 3 years ago, they have access to an online system that updates. Woo, was this relevant last year? Because we're like, here's what you need to know about COVID. Here's how to handle this. Here's a talk track. Here's a resource. Here's what you should be working on. We put so many updates and revisions. And so even my people that worked with us years ago, they're not paying us anything anymore. They get that updated stuff because I just really believe like that core foundation should update with the times. Like every year we have a social media best practices guide that comes out and it tells you, what do I need to know about Instagram? What do I need to know about YouTube? What do I need to know about Facebook? So ask those questions. Like, is there any post support or post education and things like that? Of course, conferences and events are also a really great place you can get ongoing education. There's all kinds of conferences. There's Travel Leaders, Edge Conference, there's Cruise World, there's a TA forum, there's a bunch of them out there. So depending on what's in your area, what's available, consider a conference. ASTA does some great conferences. So there's a bunch of those. Those are great for your ongoing education to get out there and learn more about your craft as well. All right, so we went through a ton of information, you guys, but I want to encourage you to think through what your goals are. And if you're really serious about being a successful travel agent or travel agency owner, think about what do I need to do to educate myself to bring the best product forward and to protect yourself liability wise and feel good about what you do and to be able to position yourself as an expert in today's marketplace. If you don't have a lot of experience, it feels real shaky at the beginning versus if you know what to do, what to say, how to position yourself as an expert from day one. that feels very different. When I came out of travel school, I was like, I know everything. I'm going to help everybody. And I sold my first $1 million year. If I had my first $1 million year way back in the 90s as a year one travel agent, but it was because I'd gone to travel school and I just had that confidence of like wanting to help people travel. So that's what education and proper learning will do for you instead of getting frustrated, overwhelmed. So listen, if you want to get training that's going to help you be skilled at your craft, become a travel agent, or you want learning with no fluff, look, I'm going to invite you to find out more about Careers on Vacation. You can go to careersonvacation.com/ready now if you want to apply for the program, or just go over to our website and take a peek at the actual information over there. It's the online learning that you're going to get. That's the one that has the lifetime modules. These update with the most current and relevant information for you guys. And you're going to get access to my amazing team. We all know this. I pay a ton of experts. And so you guys don't have to pay all the experts, but you get access to them. This is the same team that helped me grow my business to 7 figures last year. So, and of course, we're ASTA affiliated. Remember, we're on that travel school website, on the ASTA site, and we are the only program that can say we have 100+ case studies right here on YouTube. So definitely check those stories out. I'm sure there's someone that's very similar to you, and you can decide if it's for you. But either way, of course, I wish you so much love and abundance. I want to have one more thing to share with you guys. We're having so much fun over on TikTok. And if you follow me on Instagram, you already know I love sharing sunsets and all the behind the scenes stuff and all the crazy that happens. It's a wild ride, right? We have some travel coming up. So if you follow me on Instagram, I update my stories every single day, and we love to share over there too. So invite you to do that. And of course, we have our free Facebook group called Careers on Vacation, where you can just get in and start to learn about the industry. And a lot of times we do free challenges and things like that. So great way to learn and continue your journey here in the travel industry. So guys, I wish you so much love, so much abundance. I wish you the world. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Cyndi Williams here. If you like that last video, make sure you check out my other content to help you grow and scale your very own travel business. And also, I invite you to travel around the world with me and find out what I'm doing in my portable, profitable, award-winning travel business. Check out the videos.